Hello everyone and welcome back to the B stream here. Elevate versus Astralis, our second of the day. Elevate off the back of a win on Astralis with their first game. I'm Fluke and Hap is next to me.
I am indeed, and we have a second place finisher of the Charlotte Major coming up against the team that has just managed to put up 3 points on the board in this group already. It is going to be Elevate up against Astralis, and it is going to be APAC versus NA.
I mean, that's it, NA. This is their first sort of showing at this point in time. Obviously, on the other stream, it's TK versus NIP. So here, all eyes on those that are staring right back towards us, Astralis. They were huge in Charlotte. They were the hot property, and obviously they didn't quite get the full win, but they took a massive bite out of pretty much any of the competition that was ahead of them. Second place is their ultimate prize, and here's their chance to see if they can do one better.
That's going to be their goal. They want to win here in Berlin and lift that trophy, but the groups they need to finish first, or, well, second, possibly. But, you know, they need to get through it first. And Elevate is going to be their first hurdle, a team from APAC that manages to surprise many time and time again. And, you know, the only real experience that Astralis has against APAC is going to be Chiefs.
That's it, Astralis. We can talk about how they are the sort of hottest property from NA in this region. They're expected to top the group, but there's not a huge amount of data on them against APAC opponents. So throughout their run and throughout their time during Charlotte, they didn't really hit against too many. There was only really the one team. Whereas you look at Elevate's sort of success story at Invitational, and sure, 2 different players, but they were 1 round away from being entirely unbeaten against NA teams. Sonics, they were the only one that actually took it. Clubhouse ended up a 7-8 as the middle game, and then Sonics took the next map. But up till then, they beat DZ and beat TSM, the eventual champions. So they're pretty good against NA.
Yeah, that's it. Elevate does definitely have something up their sleeves that they always kick in their matches against North America. And it is a best of 1, of course. It's not a best of 3 like most of those matches were. That means we might be in a completely different ballpark here. However, they have that international experience. Whereas Astralis, well, they faced off against BDS, against Wolves, against Chiefs, and a bunch of NA teams in their only ever international appearance. And to some extent, that means they might still be untested. Of course, you know, they had some travel. They bootcamped in Copenhagen and now flew over to Berlin to start their journey here for the Major, but they're on a different continent now.
And I think that's entirely it, is we can talk about how we don't have a huge amount of data for Astralis against APAC teams, but we have data of Astralis. We have the game and the pressure that they were able to put together so well during their run at Charlotte, and that was their first. That was their first time we got to see them. Okay, you know, they've been NAL champions, they've sort of played on that LAN League environment, but there is something very different to that, and then flying halfway across the world to try and do it again with everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And if I'm just quickly looking at the players here, I think it's actually a very well-rounded roster because we had Forest, Iconic, and J90 all at a 1.05. One of them had a 1.06 rating. Whoa. Those were the highest rated players. And you might be like, that's actually quite low if you have 1.06, 1.05, 1.05, 0.97, and 0.93. But they still came in first in NAL. It was a very competitive stage this time around. They managed to win it, but they're a very well-rounded team. Everybody can step up, and everybody will step up when it's necessary.
And that's sort of the thing as well. And it's one of the fun topics of conversation is, by a lot of people's considerations, the man behind it, Callout, is the biggest brain of NA Siege. He's the sort of hot property that's tied together a team of very talented gunners into an entity that is terrifying. That is that strong sort of suit at the front of NA's chance at doubling down, doing what LATAM did once upon a time and making this their year. But the first step and the first challenge is in the pockets of Elevate, the team that we just saw take the first game, put some pressure onto M&M, a theme park showdown that ended 7-4 in their favor.
Yeah, and I think that when we were looking at Theme Park, it was a bit more of a evened out team. Of course, we had Mark performing better than everybody else at that point. But normally that's Sapper, and he wasn't too hot, at least not at the level that Mark was at that moment in time. So it also shows the possibility that Elevate, whenever it's necessary, other members can step up. Now, they play that on Theme Park. That might not be the map we head to in a couple of seconds. We don't know yet which map that is eventually going to be. I myself, I think it might be Phillip Oregon or Theme Park. One of those 3 maps we might head to, but we'll see in just a couple of seconds. But something important to know is that both these 2 teams like to play for a plant. Now, if you look at Elevate, Mark, before this last game, had 7 plants in total over the season. And if I look to Astralis, their top-rated player, actually Forrest, also 7 plants, but with 2 extra games.
I think that's one of the things as well that we might see as a bit of a pace of a lockdown. It always depends on the map that we're going to end up on, which we'll find out shortly as that gets sort of settled and sorted out, is how much room they have to play around that sort of game plan, how much room they have to get the read on the opponents. We've talked about this before on this group. When you're sort of stacked up alongside, obviously, Furia and M&M, Astralis had expectations of coming first. Probably from them, probably from everybody looking towards this group that wasn't a direct fan. So this, if Elevate are able to sort of take the first game, obviously a double round robin, they'll play against each other, then they might be able to put some things together. If you're curious about how Elevate did perform in the Pros map, well, we actually have the summary. So this is of the first game that was on this stream versus M&M. And Elevate, as you see on the sort of swing on the bottom left there, it was Mark that came in on the top side and a little bit more of a swing round.
I'm so confused on these colors. I feel like they're the wrong way around.
Yeah, the colors are the wrong way around because obviously it was
Elevate
a
that one
7-4 on the Elevate side.
Yes. So we're just quickly going to shove that one aside and get back to us.
That was the last game. Doesn't have to be right for this game.
Definitely doesn't. But yeah, that being said, I think Astralis, they're a very well-rounded lineup. Everybody is basically pulling their weight all the time. Whereas with Elevate, what we've seen is that 1 or 2 players can afford to slack off, especially in APAC South.
Slack off is a very powerful statement.
Yeah, okay, just like not be on the top level, support it a bit more.
Yeah, it is, because the thing is, it's a game of being sort of allowed the space, allowed the movement by the other players in your team. Some of the sharpness that we saw from Elevate on the previous game was coordination. Some of that was hero plays. We've seen the same from Astralis, but one of the things about Astralis' approaches is it's very coordinated. They don't sort of leave a lot up to chance. You can see in the sort of structure of their approaches kind of work out in a meta where sometimes some teams you'll see that they're sort of taking their fights. Sonics are a good example of this, of another big NA team here. One of the things you see from them is they'll take property based on their own volition. Astralis, they can do that, but it's a very good balance across the board.
The thing I'm always worried with, though, is when a team is super methodical, super counting down in terms of their setups and their pushes, how much is that going to be disturbed by Inagiri just swinging it with a DMR, with Mark just running in or jumping out and getting a double kill right before you hit that trigger? That is something that Astralis needs to be ready for, because that is something Elevate likes to go for. That is something Elevate likes to toss into the mix every now and then. Just disturb the team you're playing against. It is a strong suit. It is something that will throw some teams off guard. Is Astralis ready for that?
I guess that's one of the things that we're only going to have to really wait and see. And that's kind of the big mark about this game. That's the big question. That's the big story, is how do Astralis fare against new opponents, against things where maybe they haven't been able to fully wrap around the idea of it. Obviously, everybody does prep. Obviously, everybody gets themselves sorted. I think NA was the first to confirm their teams that were heading here. I can't quite remember off the top of my head how early Elevate were prepared, but obviously the group draw didn't happen until the end of the last EUL show.
Yeah, the group draw indeed took a long time, but you still are confirmed. You can start working on these new strategies that you want to employ at the major. You can already look at some of the teams you're going up against, and you expect to face maybe during the playoffs, right? It's like, hi, we expect these teams to make it through, so if we make it through, we need to be ready for them. Maybe Astralis was one of those teams that Elevate has been looking at and has been looking into to make sure that they are capable of shutting them down.
They're an entity, and they're an entity that's taken NA blood. And the last time they were on the international stage, obviously, unfortunately, Elevate couldn't be, missed my catch, Elevate couldn't be on the Charlotte stage because of visa issues. They weren't quite able to make it out there. Who knows what they could have done in that environment? Unfortunately, again, it's just more question marks. It's more of, let's get a taste of Elevate can sort of prove this is what they can make up the ground for.
For sure, and I'm excited to see them. It's a fun little group of players to come by. Yeah, Des just walked by.
Des.
Honestly. Don't know who invited him over to this
Who
desk here.
invited
Who
Jerry
invited him
Holt?
over? But it's a fun group of players. Whenever I'm like seeing them walk, they're always smiling. They're always having fun. They're joking around. But at some extent, Astralis is the same. It's also like a team with a lot of like personality to some extent, and a lot of stuff like going for them in terms of rhythm and mentality. Like as soon as they get fired up, they are fired up and really hard to slow down.
Hopefully we'll have the map intel for us soon, so we can sort of start breaking down where they might be going, how we might sort of see a fabric, because that is a big part of international play as well. You see in sort of map statistics happen as much as they can. You see the breakup and the build down of, okay, this is how an NA team likes to take an NA team to the boards on this, but it's always a different story. A meta really is shaped by the expectations of international competition.
Yeah, for sure. And that is where everything changes as well. Like, for some point, we had this, like, rock, paper, scissors in terms of, like, playstyle. Like, EU beat an A beats EU, and, like, APAC and APAC beats, like, EU again. So it's like, it's a little circle. Everybody beats each other. Now everybody beats EU nowadays, except for Rogue, who have just beaten them on
the A stream. On the A stream. If you missed it out, Rogue won the first game.
7-2.
7-2.
Was impressive.
Spicy.
There. Very spicy. But as players do start to join,
we do. We can see the lobby. We can see
the lobby.
Joining the lobby. We can't hear anything else beyond that. We're just hoping.
We're just hoping that we will be blessed with some map bans
very fast.
I was saying the exact same before, and it's like, how? Like, if you need to read very quickly if you want to hold on to this.
Everything around the action.
Also, some space bars missing there.
Join the conversation about the 6 Major Bloom with hashtag 6 Major. Check out more Esports at http://realist6.com/esports.
You forgot the S and HTTP.
Dang
HTTPS.
Well, nobody's getting to that website now, unless you type it in at home. Okay, we are getting closer and closer towards the game starting. I will double check. Do we have our maps? Yes.
Do we?
I don't know. That's why.
I thought you said yes.
Asking.
So it's like yes.
In a couple minutes,
okay,
we'll hopefully have all of the map details and we'll be in with the game. Are we
taking bets which one it is?
It's the first. Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Oregon, theme park, or maybe Villa. Villa is like is the odd one out, but I think my main bet is on Oregon.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Oregon. I'm going to put my my queen down, my chips down.
Yeah.
For Oregon. Do you want to know my reasoning, or do you go first?
Well, if I go for Oregon, I mean, both teams have won it, have played it multiple times.
Yeah.
And if I look at the other maps that they have banned or have banned against them many other times, it's the only map that comes out.
Wow. There you go. My reasoning is that it was the one that Elevate sort of lost handily at SI as a team. It's one that Astralis can play. Everybody remembers the iconic play tucked around on the corner and the huge bit of momentum. Astralis caused trouble on Oregon. They potentially make problems, which is one of the reasons where I think we might be there. It was a close game versus TSM as well. When Elevate played them on it, it was one that sort of came to the brink. So the history of that map, I think, is something that can work in Astralis' flavor of being like, we know they bleed on this map against our opponents, and we beat those opponents to get here. There's been time, sure, but when that's the data you're working on within the sort of 5-month window, you run it. You run those numbers.
You do. You have to go for it. I mean, there's always that limited info, especially if you're looking at APAC, South and North. They only have 7 play days. Of course, they have a bunch of national leagues to go around as well, but usually teams play maps there that they do not play inside of the APAC North or APAC South. Might even just ban it out a bunch, and that kind of inflates the statistics. If they win it a lot in the national league, it might get banned out against them, whilst they prefer to not play it at all. So if you just look at the APAC South side of things, there's only really 7 matches per stage you can go off, whereas in EU that is going to be a total of 9 matches, and LATAM 18 with Copa Elite.
It's a lot of matches.
It's a lot of matches.
A lot of games. A lot of pressure. A lot of possibilities. Has it been a couple minutes? I want to know if I'm right now.
I don't know either. I don't even know if it was 3 minutes to game start or 2 map bans.
I think 2 map bans, because that's what we were talking about actively. I can check potentially
on your book,
but it won't ruin the surprise.
Can you?
No, all I actually open is the drama from Berlin. All of everyone's just insulting each other. Blah, 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 blah. And
Yeah.
No, I don't have it.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's unfortunate.
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. Well, with that minute to go, we kind of run out of things.
It's the first day of a major.
Yes.
And I think the thing is, there's not a lot of data of these two teams going up against each other. There's only really everything that we've said. And if you've tuned out everything that we've talked about, understandable. And if you've just unmuted at this moment in time, press the little thing, drive it along. Astralis are hot property. But they're not massively tested against APAC. That's the storyline of this game.
You'd have only ever played against Chiefs. Chiefs who hasn't qualified at this moment in time, and are coming up against Elevate, a team that has been able to qualify many times so far, just unfortunately not able to play it all the time. And now they're here. They're playing. They just had 3 points in the bag against M&M, a other team inside the group, obviously. And with that, that might be a good start for a top 2 finish in their group.
That's it. And that's that sort of thing. And here, Elevate, if they can try and put that bit of distance, that bit of pressure on, it could mean so much, especially to M&M, who are obviously off the back of a loss, sitting there currently in last place, watching, waiting, commiserating for the chance at something. It is the first day of a major. We apologize for how long some of these pre-discs are and have been. We're making sure that all the players, because the competitive integrity is the most important part, not the show of us, not our show. No.
We're just here to give you the action once it's there.
We're trying to give you as much as you want.
Stalling.
There's a request. Oh my gosh!
And it's Oregon!
All right. And Sandbox didn't ban in this one.
No, Sandbox didn't ban this time, so Elevate decided, you know what, we'll just do it all ourselves. Rather than have Sandbox join in.
Yeah, I mean,
as
it's
a bit of help from the region.
You know, they don't need it. They're sort of locked in. Okay, this is sort of the expectation. Their removal of Bank Theme instantly was the first off the ball there for Astralis. They do not want to play.
It's been twice as well.
Yeah, they just
really did not want to play it.
Was it?
Yeah. Bank Theme.
Bank Theme Cafe.
Chalet Villa.
What's supposed to be that?
Sky. Let me just go and check.
Cafe. No.
It's Border.
Border
is the second one. Theme was banned by Elevate.
Bank, Border, Chalet, Clubhouse, Cafe, Oregon, Skyscraper Theme, Villa.
What are you doing?
An alphabetical of all the maps.
I've written down already.
Yeah, I have it memorized because I'm better than you. We're going to Oregon. This ties into the fact of all the stuff that we actually predicted this, and that sort of makes sense. When the data comes together in this sort of a scenario, it does lead to a fun game. And we lead to a fun game, ladies and gentlemen. The map fly! We're in, baby!
We're in for yet another game, the second one. And if you look at the social polls, the Elevate win did not help them much. 40% up against 60 in favor of Astralis. Now, I think if you look at it like that, you can understand it. Astralis, they are tournament favorites of some kinds. So if they manage to pull out a good win here against Elevate, well, they'd be more than happy to be on an equal first spot.
Okay, Rainbow Six, let's see what you have to offer. No Finker, Elevate removing it. This is something that I was a bit curious about, is how Finker would play. It was a conversation. We're not going to entirely say that NA uses her as a crutch. No. But it is prevalent. It's something that sort of suffered a couple of bans towards the end of the NAL run, but it has been a little bit more of a common ban across the APAC region. We've seen a couple of teams like Damogear especially, steadily remove it. And then we've also seen it in EU as well, and Latin America. So percentage-wise, NA had the most Finker plays, the least Finker bans.
Yeah, Finker is a very, very meta-deciding currently operator. And Zami, whilst also a new operator, we're not quite seeing her into play yet. Again, to be banned out. With Finker gone as well, that's the heal. That is the revives on range for the attack that are currently off the board as well. Astralis will be starting off with that. As for now, we do see the Lion to come out, which might always indicate a bit of a quick pace start. Repick is always still on the board. And that means that, you know, everything can change. Basically, only look at what the defenders have, because that won't change. Do you want to know a fun fact?
I always want to know a fun fact.
If you look at Oregon, and you look at the man on your top left of the screen, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
The first thing that comes to mind
when you see Onigiri,
when I see Onigiri on Oregon with a DMR, I think of world records.
I think of the 27 kills he managed to drop.
I think
that
was 27 kills.
Also part of the Aruni, indeed, to come through, shooting through those laser gates towards blue with the DMR, picking up multiple kills. He feels really good in this map here, and that is something Elevate can really use to their advantage. Now, we're getting going. 3 minutes of action phase here in round 1, and we'll find out soon who will set the pace and who will set the tone.
All right, here it is, stacked up and ready to rock and roll. DP Fire instantly putting some pressure there down towards the swing of blue, but there's a lot left to do. The stretch up towards the top of tower. They have themselves an extension, and Forest is very quick. Astralis, 30 seconds down, hatch being popped open. They've made a bit of movement here. Forest is going to see if he can find a fight. Droned ahead, there's 2 players, 1 up, 1 down. They've isolated one, swung for the fight on the other. Take the camera, when's the next going to show up? They're a bit too under pressure. The Nook has come for a bit of support. The swing round, they don't know about Mark though. He's done a little bit of dodgy work, and well, now he's looking for the shotgun, hoping they come round. There is grenades obviously in the pocket. They'll probably find the follow through next. But here, Astralis, they wanted to take this territory in the blink of an eye. They're tiptoeing around the side of a fight. Mark's got himself a rotate out. He knows he needs to hit it before he's entirely surrounded. Oh, he took that a little bit dangerously, but he's able to find a bit of space. They're still closing down. DP Fire now stacked on the window. The second E1D, the spray through, but it's the first that falls. Forest goes down. The trade is J90. And Astralis, they were able to get their blood.
They needed to hunt down Mark, and they wanted to go quick down the back stairs, but unfortunately shut down by Sepper and Mark playing there, slowing them down ever so slightly. And eventually that first kill will come in for Elevate, instantly traded out, however, but more importantly, a minute 30 wasted on that clock. And they did manage to find Forks, a player who consistently does get the plants down for Astralis, now no longer has the opportunity to do so. The diffuser is still cold outside of the window, so it's easily recovered if you go down green, jump outside, and pick it back up. So no real worry there for Astralis.
Well, it's hit the boards running, and then there's what Astralis are trying to do here. That wasn't just anything that we'd define as a rush, but it was rushed. It was quick, it was aggressive, and it was all over the shop. They made sure that there was a lockdown. The loop comes through the burn on the Aruna gate, a spray through, and it's J90 to find Sapper on the swing round. The second grenade might be able to get the full catch. Obviously, the Wamai is still alive in a position. They escape, but they don't want to lose the power too much. They moved into the pillar instantly. The swing round, there's one. There's the fight back. There's Astralis in a 1 versus 3. Onigiri is trying to hit the heavy hammer on the far side in the back line of the site. The kid is upstairs, but they have 40 seconds. They have all the time in the world. They do get DP Fire up. Onigiri sort of making a statement on positioning. Can't find J90! And Astralis take round 1.
Might have made a little bit too much noise there, and in the background I hear the calls, "What are you doing?" coming out from Astralis. We take that very first. Elevate might have been a bit too aggressive there to some extent, especially near the end of the round. Mark, he started off strong, got that very first kill, instantly traded out. However, 90 seconds left on the clock, but it was enough for Astralis to start punching to the site. Lack of ADS or potentially magnets there to make sure they couldn't hold onto the pillar position. Perhaps. But we'll get going again. Next round. And it will be up in the top 4. In the bedrooms, where Elevate wants to hold on. Now, Forest quickly swapping over towards the heart breach. They, of course, need to open up either the attic or the walk-in closet towards the bedroom. Soon that choice will be made.
Okay, well, a very big change around in the pockets of who's got what. The E1Ds are off the board. They didn't quite have, I would say, a direct movement, but it was used very, very well. And that's kind of the same expectation I have. J90 is going to pick up the Candelas, see if they can try and roll them through a little bit sharper. Again, a very wide start here from the sides of Astralis. There's bodies all over the shop. They're sort of making sure they have a presence everywhere. They're not letting Elevate breathe on this map, and that's sort of what you have to do. Take the game with a strong arm and hold on until the end.
Quick drones coming through, trying to figure out if they can be attacking with the same pace as they had before. And to some extent, yes. Quite a bunch of a spread from Elevate, but they're not really out far into the building. So the first couple of entries are relatively free for Astralis to take hold of. And that's exactly what they're currently trying to do. Get these drones in position, make sure you set up that drone network, and after that you can start taking the ground physically. Put those guns on the board. Make sure you isolate some of these Elevate players like Mark, who only just rotates back up or around these whites. Somehow survives there from the grenade. And Mr. Punch also receives a bit of pressure.
That's it. He's tucked in. The hatch is soft, I believe, so they can get a bit of an escape if they need to. Astralis haven't been able to get the full catch on the first player, but they also lost, technically, the entry on the previous round. And, well, they're always a team that wants to keep trying to improve and improve and improve. There's the drop on the hatch. The breach gets popped open. They're ready to try and take the drop as soon as they want to. They're stacked up all the way to the top floor. Mr. Punch is hoping he finds a fight before it goes with Iconic, making sure nobody rotates around on the back. The pressure is on Astralis. J9O, he's going for a bit of a long-range rotation. Onigiri is the lockdown onto Attic in case they try and tuck the window, but they might just do that. The grenade over the top catches DCH, tucked on the bomb chassis, and now they're all the way up white stairs.
And this really lets them lock it off here. Soon a jump in will come through, especially with these Candelas about to be flying in from the kids' window right here. They're all in and around the side. They just need the cover to be on point, but Mark will be able to find one as the return comes through. Sapper finds one as well as the plant's down.
Oh no, it's just caught out at the very last second there. It's down and locked in, but with only one player left there underneath, they have the sight back, and sure, you get it down, but the player down at the same split second means that it's this Elevate step themselves back in, find a response and around, and well, Astralis, they've suffered at the end of that, but it started with their entrance so far. 0-2-2 of who gets the entry wins the round.
Yeah, entries are often quite important. So let's see. Let's keep our eyes on that. See if that indeed continues this way. Now, just quickly looking at the Oregon stats of both these teams. If you look at defense, Elevate on average wins 4-ish out of 6 rounds per half. Astralis on the attack wins on average 4-ish out of 6 rounds. So it really comes down to who's going to be getting the better half right here before we truly know who is going to be truly in charge. We're here in Oregon. Of course, the meta slowly started to shift towards the attack itself. And that might also be the case right here. So whoever does better on the defense might find themselves with a win at the end of the day.
1 for 1. Kind of with all the excitement that you wanted this game to have, obviously. Not just the delay that sort of affected Elevate. Astralis was sat with a different plan of your day, and when that changes, sometimes you've got to rebuild and restructure around it. There were videos posted of them having a very good time in their practice room earlier on today, having a bit of a dance, and they've danced themselves into this. DCH was the first off the board last time, and the Jaeger is curious about finding someone on the wrong end of that, but nobody was home.
He just literally walked out underneath his sight there, so wasn't going to be able to catch anybody off guard. But that's fine. He went for the attempt. At least makes them know that, hey, I'm there. You need to be paying attention to me. You cannot just forget about me. As DCH continues to take out some of these drones. Now, Lifeline looking to be used to get a quick opening up into the bedroom. Reinforcements are still coming through here, as Astralis is looking to take this top floor under their control.
That's it, Shuttle. He's just digging his way across the top of Armory. Iconic on the far side is catching anybody that might pop up on the top of white stairs. It's Mark. He's isolated. He's trying to offer all of the swing support, but it's verticality that you need to try and get the lockdown here onto this side. It's either a stage or a vertical take. That's that window popped open. That Shuttle round on the backside. The Candelas pop around. The smoke covers White, and he's inside, but he can't see anything, and neither can we. Now swinging round over the hatch. They've lost the player, lost control, but there's still one on the top of white stairs, which he's in the middle of everything. He's able to get one. Iconic's down. Swings round, expects a bit of a response from the top of the stairs. There are player, there is pressure, there is a lot more, but they haven't been able to force him out. There's another, there's the kid. Marcus pushing into the open space and taking body after body. He's tucked all the way around. He is the kid. Somebody's going to rotate to the double window, so pressure's going to come. Is there one more? There is almost one more. What? There is one more. Mark gets the connection. DP5 with the Candelas. There's J9O. through! Up the white stairs, they're going for the double push and the ping, but he's still running about, causing a menace and being a problem. He's looking for one more fight here. It's a slow jiggle, the pre-fire and the angle, finally taken out of the equation, but my word, the damage he had done.
He should have been taking out 2 kills before that one, Emmy. He was able to find the first. Fair enough. The second, that's a bit questionable, but the third definitely should not have happened. A lack of information there on the side of Astralis might come to hurt them now, because we're in that 3v2 situation, and Agiri is just quickly trying to sneak out here. There's no real entrance here for Astralis, except for through security, and if they take that, they'll be walking right into the crossfires that are being set up here by Elevate.
Pre-fire on the Banshee as soon as they move around the corner. DCH, he tried to put some pressure down on the backside of Zulu, but they've slipped their way past. There's a Candela around on the corner. There's a catch and a Wamai just before nobody could see. Onagiri's gone, and so Sapa! Elevate, they find themselves in the lead 2 rounds in a row.
Have to give the credit to Mark there. He finds that first, sticks around for the second, actually going back up the white stairs, and then finds a third who is sledging the ground. I'm just going to say it. You should have gotten a drone out as soon as he got to that very first kill from the white stairs. They might have expected him, okay, he's fallen off. He's gone back towards the side. We don't have to worry about him. But if you're not 100% sure, you need to treat that white stairs like there might still be someone there. If he then picks up a second kill, okay, well, you could be going down the white stairs, you could be going back to the side, or he digs in deeper into the actual side. If no one is watching that, you will be picked up yet again. And Astralis, a huge oversight there, allowing Elevate to find their second round.
We said it after the first game. Mark being top of the board, it's a little bit of a statistical anomaly. It's not really the place he finds it, and he's gone, I'll show you statistical anomaly. And he's found himself so quick into the response of this. Elevate, they're seemingly warmed up. They're sharper than they were at the beginning of the game against Sleep. It's still early doors and days, and we know Astralis will always have more in the canister and the tank. But that little bit of a misplay and a miscommunication as to where that player was handed the second kill.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't have happened. Getting the third at the end of that
is criminal.
What it seemed like another rotate. Did they just assume he'd gone down white? And is this something where we talked about before? What do you expect from APAC? From us, that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we know these teams. We watched them multiple times. We know they want to go aggressive. And as there's a lot of scans coming out from the line there, there's no one really there to follow up on it. As they wanted to go for a quick push up on the top. And that's exactly what they did. They took some control of the kitchen, of the dining area. And of course, you have that under control now. But Elevate really not playing outwards. They're all truly onto that basement floor. But you need to be careful that they don't go for a late flank.
You can see that Sap has sort of stacked himself up. They're not in too aggressive a position they were before. They expected a bit of pace that came through from Astralis, which they've done. It's a very good clear, a very quick clear, a minute in, and they've already pretty much feel confident with the top floor. They're going to start trying to batten down the hatches on the basement itself. They roll the drone past Zappa.
Did they see him?
Surely they did, because I saw him.
I was going to say, you better do, but the drone didn't... Oh, okay, it's turned around now.
There's a drone just behind Zappa. Zappa didn't see the drone, maybe, or he's just trusting that. There's the E1Ds, there's a bounce of grenades, there's some pressure. The hatch, I'm not sure if it's open or closed, but there's a smoke canister that's going to make sure he buys himself a little bit more time.
He's definitely being spotted out here, though, but the only true thing that he needs to be afraid of is grenades to bounce around the corner. And if you look on the right side of your screen, there's only 3 left as DP Fire will take down Mark, the man of the hour in that last round here. And it's a great pickup for Astralis.
The drop on the hatch comes through there over the bottom. Mr. Punch is able to find one. There's a swing, but it's covered from the side. There's another one. Mr. Punch hits hard. 3 down on the side of the door of Freezer. DP Fire's left looking at a bulletproof and an ADS right in front of him. He has some support from J90, doing a bit of pressure around on the side of blue, and he's looking for the cut all the way across that E-box there on the core. It's a swing round. DCH is able to find the connection, the pistol over the top, sprayed through, but Mr. Punch with the 4K.
They're starting to get loud now on the side of Elevate as they manage to pick up yet another round, Emmy. They will extend their lead here on the defense in Oregon, and a tactical timeout is being called by Astralis. 45 seconds. They will have to discuss and see what's going wrong, but I can give them some pointers right now.
Go on. They can't hear you, but go on.
I know they can't, but the rest of the people back at home will understand. It is about the fact that Elevate, especially in that third round, able to hit and continue pushing onwards without them expecting them that they've taken the ground. Elevate doesn't fall back after they get a kill.
No.
They attack more. It's like, you get a kill? What about 20 more meters? They get a kill. What about 20 more meters? And they continue pushing on like that.
There's an old thing in football. soccer to our American friends, which is called attack the space, which is if you see a pocket of space, you attack it, you move into it. That is Elevate's game. That is the game they like to play. If there is space, they will attack it. They won't sit by and wait for things to come. Astralis are the same. Astralis, I think against a lot of other teams, this would be working a trick. The plays that they're doing, the coordination, everything that we talked about and love about seeing Astralis, it's here. But so is Elevate. That one rogue statistic that loves to fly around, and that's an Astralis moment to sort of catch their breath and go, we need to expect this now.
They definitely need to expect it. They need to act on it. Maybe even like pre-act on it. Like be ready to reply to the situation if it happens, or set yourselves up so you can instantly give a response if Elevate go for it. And I mentioned it before. On average, Astralis, they get 4 out of 6 rounds on their attack on Oregon. On average, Elevate gets 4 out of 6 rounds on their defense on Oregon. You see where this is going?
I see where this is going.
If Elevate gets one more than Astralis, they might be in big trouble for the rest of their game.
Only time and scores and the 10 players in the game and the coaches behind them and the support staff will tell just where we end up. Here, that is Astralis' timeout done. This is the lead-in. You look, Astralis, let's see. We are kind of missing Iconic in this game. Forrest as well hasn't quite hit the boards yet. Iconic didn't have the sharpest start to NAL, but then really found his feet as time went on. There are a little bit of an idea of what's he going to bring. He was such a big tour de force throughout Charlotte. He was the man that pretty much everybody in the crowd's name screamed a few times. So him having a quicker start here, him having a catch a moment, that could be massive for them right now.
Yeah, if you just look at it, Iconic actually the second rated player of this team during the North American League. So him missing out a little bit now, and Forrest, by the way, best rated player of this team during the NAL, missing out basically tells you that Astralis are struggling a little bit here. But enough about that. They're starting to open up with these heart breach gadgets onto the attic area. DCH does go down though. Forrest will find his very first and will allow him to continue on. Now breach onto the bedroom walls, but they haven't actually cleared out the tarp onto, that is the attic. So we might actually see it rotate into the big tower soon.
Just gets the width of the couch there against the mute jammer. It's an awkward opener, but it's an opener. And it gives a little bit more awkward into the side of Elevate. They have Mark. Look where he's gone.
Sapper.
Oh, into the space. Sapper. He's gone into the space. He's concerned about somebody watching around on the far side. If he can get somebody going for the hop over, that's what he's hoping. Onto the white. There he goes. Onto the next step. There he goes. Into Sapper. There he goes. Gone. And now onto the swing round. Onto the top of white stairs. There's one more. Doesn't quite get the full connection. But now he's concerned. There is the body in trophy. Still tucked round. Holding on. But Mark, he moved into the other space. He retook attic. Now Forrest has to do a little bit of a dirty job. But there's Elevate once again. Iconic. Off the bottom of the board. Finds himself his first. 2 more. And 50 seconds. A huge amount of time here for this player to really start to dig his teeth in if there's a moment. For him to start to find them swings that got Astralis so far. It is now slight separation in the 2 players. He's going to see if he can try and get a little bit of this kit down. They'll hear the audio and they bait the first play. It's brought them closer, and it's brought a bit of a dangerous game. Iconic, he's hoping for the swing, but it's on Akiri!
And that's going to be the 4th round of Elevate here. They played that well, especially Sapper. You said it before, they attacked the space. What did they do? Oh, let's put the exothermic down into the walk-in closet wall, Emmy. And you know what? Let me just go over to Trophy at that point. No drone, no flank watch, nothing there. Sapper takes the ground, finds one, deals a lot of damage to Forrest as well.
It happened twice as well, because as that was happening, Mark on the far side retook the breach on attic. We saw him holding it as both heart breach charges went, and then as soon as the player left, Mark went, oh cool,
this is mine now.
I can go through this now. He stacked himself up on the window right next to that breach, and as soon as they tried to find some pressure elsewhere, oh hey man, it's me Mark. You remember me? Now you do.
Free real estate, as he would say. As Elevate would say. There's no one there? Right, we take it. If you don't want it, it is ours. 4-1 in the current scoreline here. Doing very well against Astralis. And you know what I said against, the previous game when they were up against M&M? If they pick up a point that might be considered a win against Astralis, who are some of the tournament favorites.
5 seconds left.
They pick up 2. an even bigger win. 3, I don't think many would expect to happen here, especially if you looked at the social votes. 40% of the public believes in Elevate, 60% believes in Astralis, but Elevate definitely in charge right now. But we cannot forget this most crucial thing about Siege, is 2 halves.
2 halves.
There's always 2 halves.
It's never over, and it's tough to say that for the same of these 2 teams as well, who never really know when it's over. They'll keep the fight going, but Elevate, they are just so scrappy. Look at this. All of the pressure that's starting to pop the soft around DCH, and well, he's going to sit there just for now. Droning ahead of the players, trying to find a cut through onto the site. Onigiri, he's got that rotation. He's got that clarity and the sense of, oh, where are they coming from? Forest, going for the quick breach. The attention towards site. Last time, if we recall, they went heavy on top and heavy losses here. With that wall open, they now have an angle through onto the site. It's a different approach from Astralis. Can they find a different result?
Small amount of damage done to J9O there. Nothing too major to worry about, but still, Elevate is looking for these fights. They're happy to go for them at any given moment here.
Mark he rebuilt a barricade.
You know, sometimes you just got to rebuild some of these barricades. Just put some more ground between yourself and the enemy. There's nothing wrong with that.
He rebuilt the barricade at the bottom of White Stairs, and it sort of gives that question of Astralis, who are they hunting? And you know, the game is 10 seconds later, Intel is dead. In this Elevate, if they've been 2 seconds, they're gone. Expect them to either suddenly be in front of you or somewhere entirely else. And here, Astralis, I think they're picking up on that. 1:20. They got, obviously, the breach on the far side to make things a little bit tougher for Elevate. They still have shuttle close. Forest is trying to get open stage itself. This to stop them. Explosives to throw through on Onigiri.
C4!
Oh, the C4, a Sapper! And now that wall is going to stay hard.
Well, there's already a soft part next to it. They can still blow that out if they have the utility to do so with J9O, but that was what they were planning to go for. Use that. Another C4 might come around the corner. No, it's actually smoke canister. A lot of damage done to Iconic, a lot of damage done towards Shuttle. They're in a 4v5 situation. Make that 2! As it is going to be Elevate that are starting to punch back even harder in this round.
Mark rotates round on the back. J9O opened up massive in the first round on their attack, and it's now all they have left on the last of their attack here. Spraying over the top of the shield, caught on the side of the Banshee, the swing round, and Astralis knocked to the side. There's a shotgun. There's a shotgun. Mr. Punch hits one more punch in his tally card of Astralis bodies. He has taken off the board. 5 rounds on Elevate's defense.
Against the just one of Astralis. Now they will be heading over towards the defense where they look to do the same, or hope they can do the same as Elevate just managed to dish out to them. But can they? Are they going to be able to stay in this? Elevate, they still have their tactical timeout ready to go. They only need 2 attacking rounds to make sure that they take the win here. Now, even 1 round is going to be able to give them at least a point. That is something to keep in mind as well. If they get 1 round, they'll be at the top of the table at least for another couple matches.
Oh, Astralis. Everything to play is ahead of you at this point. Now, obviously, it's a double round robin. Every team plays each team twice. And I think regardless of whether Astralis pull themselves back into this game, which is still possible or feasible or not, there's going to be a long talk about what to expect from Elevate on the second showing. Elevate themselves, 2 more rounds, and then they'll have taken all maximum points from today. The less that they now lose to the side of Astralis as well. If you're looking at round difference,
exactly.
Oh, that could be massive.
Round differential is going to be that tiebreaker. So if they do manage to close this with a 7-1, 7-2, let's just, you know, throw that out there, then they'll definitely be in a good position. Oh, that's a rush coming through, Emmy. Right through the basement. It's only Forest there. Is it going to get picked up? He's throwing out one of these mines, but it's not going to stop them.
Onigiri finds the first. DP fire's gone. Forest swings round and gets the drop. There's 2 bodies off the border. 3 versus 2. Suddenly, Iconic and J9O, all that's left. DCH, he's stuck with the kit. He doesn't go for the plant as the blinds come through either side. He's swinging onto the corridor. There's a fight. Mr. Punch, he gets caught out, and now it's a 2 versus 2. But there's only really one of the Elevate players inside the site itself. big from Astralis to be able to pull themselves back round. 2 minutes 10 on the clock. A bit of a reshuffle, a reschedule. J9 has been massive there from the swing round on the opposite side. Mr. Punch, he can't really go anywhere. That's the problem right now. Onigiri has to try and offer him a lifeline from the swing round. J9, he wants to go a bit dangerous. There's a bit of a swing. Iconic's waiting for the audio of somebody picking it up. They're trying to isolate a fight, but Astralis, they're playing this very clever. They've pulled themselves back. There's the swing onto the freezer door, doesn't quite get the full catch. It was a throw of a Prisma, a risk. There's the pop, there's Onigiri! Swings round, takes one, J9 gets one back at 1 versus 1. But only one of these two players is the one that has to put the kit down itself. J9 has a very quick gun and a quicker hand here. Who's going to get the ring around the rosies? The drone gets caught out, the ping, the swap to the secondary, the look through the drone hole. Is he going in with a shotgun for rotations? The kit is back in his hand. He doesn't even want to reload. He's not sure of the risk, and this is the LMG. This is the game it can play. They're going to see each other around on the side of Laundry. He's close. There's the side.
Oh!
It's J9!
The bailiff! The bailiff somehow gets their kills. Not made for this, but just in time. 2 shots, enough to lock out that 1v1. And Onigiri not allowed to win that one, but Elevate made it quite close at that very first push. And with that, it is Astralis still in the game with a 5-2 trail that they need to make up for. Oh, that got quite close there. Parker is just quickly coming to look over as well, and he's...
Defenders, protect your bombs.
I don't know if he's disappointed.
Zip Parker, you just missed the end of a round. Astralis, J9, he clutched it out with a bailiff.
Against an LMG.
Against an LMG. Impressive, says Parker.
5-2.
And now he's off.
And now he's off.
To do Canadian things, I assume.
Or American, as you called him back then.
Okay, Astralis, 1 round by the skin of your teeth. I said J9 was the clutch out in the very first round. It wasn't really a clutch, it was the first round of the game, and it was won. But it was won very well by him. Let's be fair, I think it was a 4K, if not a 3K. Here, there, at the end of that, the rotation background towards Freezer, we assume we're not going to see a double rush. It was a good response from Astralis to get themselves back in, tucked around on the corner. It was a good idea from Elevate. If they put themselves on map point with that, then that gives them so much to play for.
I think if you look at it, the Ela shotgun was probably the worst gun to face in that situation. And if they would have waited 5 seconds longer, the Ela would have been long gone. They wouldn't even be in that situation. And they could have gone for the plant at that time. It's just an unfortunate time. Wrong place, wrong time. And just making sure that the Ela was actually able to get those shots down with the FO12. With that, Astralis, they live for now. No match point against them yet. No 5 match points, more importantly, against them yet. There is a bit of an understanding, though, from Elevate that someone could be in the big tower, but they're not putting full attention towards it, and that might cost them later on, because Iconic is just sitting here with the Aruni, has the opportunity to just one punch that window and instantly fire upon Mark, who's sitting on top of that roof.
Wow, under the sound of the sweet harmonica, Shuttle is going to just throw down that early smoke and keep anything potentially at bay. They have the chance of a swing round on a wall, and obviously we talked about the movement and momentum that Elevate took before on their approach. Astralis is sort of making the statement of saying, well, we're just going to have this open from the get-go. We're going to utilize it and slow you down on the door of things. Elevate are trying to get the catch in the rotation. They'll potentially go for something faster. DCH stacked up on double window with nothing broken. There's players ready to potentially roll stuff through there and catch a rotate onto white. DCH is just going to open up the soft itself, see if they get a stretch, and Mr. Punch gets the grenade. There it was. All that count towards Shuttle on the far side, moves amongst behind the smoke itself, and they've taken some of the territory here.
I wanted to reactivate the laser cave there. It's like, wait, no. We don't do that here in the attack. Not now, at least, as Mr. Punch receives a bit more pressure coming in from the attic, from the pit, as J9 is looking to go aggressive with the MPX right here, but he's being circled around slowly but steadily, as Onigiri already has an entrance right into the site.
There it is, but you can still see Astralis are keeping them a bit at bay. DCH is that one bit of pressure on the other side that they haven't quite got rid of. There is a chance of a rotation. Iconic's found himself a little bit closer, which has allowed J9 to move to the other side to try and counteract those Candelas. The man with the magical blasters of Warden can see through those if he is caught out. They're trying to buy them a second and a centimeter, but the hold underneath. Well, Mark's now on the plant spot. DCH gets the catch onto one. Forrest has found his way through. Onigiri,
below.
Now's the time to go for it. No, yeah, you're right, it's below. The kit doesn't go down. It's just one player left. Suddenly, there's the swing round. Forrest has made his way back up towards the top now in the position I thought he was, and now they're going to see if they can get the plant itself. No! Elevate, map point.
Elevate are able to put themselves up onto 6 here, Emmy, and that means they have 4 rounds to lock it off against one of the tournament favorites, Astralis. They came in second at Charlotte, and now they need to try and fight back against this APAC team. They've only ever won against them, but to be fair, it was only ever 2 games against them. Against the Chiefs, a 7-5 and a 7-3 victory they managed to put in on the group stages back then. But now Elevate, they have stolen at least 1 point. They might be able to get even more out of this one. And if they do get 6 points here, I'm not going to say it, but they are doing a very good job at making themselves head towards a top 2 spot in their major. Especially since no one else has managed to pick up points yet. So,
I mean, Elevate's group. This is the power of Dev and Mandy being here.
It is. They're not casting it.
No, but they're just here.
They're here indeed, yes. The APAC talent gives the APAC buff.
Yeah.
Also, you know, I heard he had, like, Onigiri, for example, he had a really good steak.
Wow.
He didn't put any ketchup with it this time.
Okay,
so that's improvement. And well, there you have it. Elevate currently 6-2. It's not quite a kill record game yet, but he's on 11 kills. He likes Oregon. Onigiri does.
I mean, yeah. I think it's fair to say that it's a good map. In the pockets and the side, he's caught up and now surpassed Mr. Punch, who has had an exceptional game as well. Mark, true. Sapper, you know, he's steady, he's in a positive KD. He hasn't been the leading man that he has been for the campaign to get the team here, but at this point, what else do they need? There's been a very good contribution. Oh, goodbye, Mr. Punch. First off the board, Forrest gets the opener here.
We're on a tertiary site though, Emmy. That is quite confusing. We are playing near the dining hall, and you know, there is a bit of verticality that goes in it, especially for the kitchen side of things. But they do have a Monty on the board, and that could be very, very valuable if they do want to go for an eventual push. DP Fire, though, will find Onigiri as well. Shuts him down. Brings it to a 3v5. J90 still playing inside this small tower, is going to be making sure that Elevate is not going to be having the best of times. And as these impacts get tossed out, it's not going to be doing too much against the shield.
That's it. Now it's a 5 versus 3, so Astralis can try and dedicate another person to try and get there, and that's the thing. They're waiting and baiting for the push and the pressure. They're hoping they can get it. It's not pre-placed, but it's ready to rip and tear over. As soon as he gets the call, there it is. They heard the movement back. They heard it get thrown. There's 3 of them all trying to go through one door. Monty's the first, but there is J90! Takes the header for DCH. Nobody can see a thing but Mark. Is able to at least cement one. Played in the suicide spot. The player is gone, but so is most of Elevate.
Yeah, there's only 2 members left. It's Sapper with a giant shield and a diffuser, and it's Mark who has 2 exothermics and a couple of smokes. Now, the first will be used to create a bit of a head-height opening that they can use to actually fight over towards the kitchen side. But it is going to be quite difficult, especially with Monty just dropping down. There's a mirror window on the other side of it. Mark probably is not going to be winning this round.
No, there's a lot to do, a minute to do it in, and even in the sort of position, they've retaken the suicide spot.
Yeah.
So
well, not yet, but
they are retaking it. Everything that they'd worked for is gone. Mark has an even tougher problem to deal with at this point. There's the player behind the mirror window, there's the player behind him. There's nothing else for them to really do, but have a bit of a chat. 45 seconds, they can slow the game down, they can get themselves back in and Elevate. Oh, it's a tertiary site, but things got a little bit ahead of them. They have 3 more rounds after this one when it inevitably concludes.
And that means it's going to be at least 3 more different sites that they have to attack. So taking the time right now to discuss your opportunities for, let's say, the first 2 sites you're going to be trying is going to be a good shot. And after that, you still have your tactical timeout because Elevate hasn't called it yet, which you can use if things really do go down south. So Elevate have a good opportunity now to quickly get everything reset, quickly get everything rebalanced. Mark is about to go aggressive. He actually outguns Forrest's SMG with the new sock there. So he gets a kill for his efforts, but nothing more than that. It is round 9 that will head towards Astralis. And now, 3 more rounds that they need to win if they want to go to OT.
A journey ahead of them. The previous game for Elevate was a 7-4, and we're probably going to find ourselves down onto Laundry. Last time we were here, it was a Laundry-sided rush was the attempt on the lead-in. You're probably not going to see the same thing. The Warden playing against the Candelas has been a little bit of a consistent, so DCH is actually up to change there. The Twitch is going to be picked up instead to see if they can bring themselves a little bit of a different approach.
Of course, the rush last time around managed to get quite some kills on the board from either side, but we're probably not going to be seeing that, I assume at least. Who knows? It is still Elevate. They might still just go for another crazy push, you know? It's never really out of the books until we see those first 30 seconds and can indeed confirm that that is not going to be the plan. However, if indeed Astralis is limited on the side, if there's only one or two players playing around there and the rest is roaming, which could be possible with all the barricades that are being tossed up, all the rotations that are currently being made, and reinforcements that are being used, Elevate might just as well go through blue, for example.
I think that's it right now is, let's see what Elevate do more than anything, because to be fair to Astralis, their response to the rush was very, very well put together. Now they have so much more that they can try and force inside. That's it, yeah, it's only Forest.
I mean, he shut them down last time around, right? He is... Okay, that's a good start. It's DP5 taken out with DCH right there, and with that, it is going to be a one-man advantage for Elevate here on a very important round for them.
I mean, that's it. DP5 is gone. A big player on that role, and starting to come to a little bit more life here on the defense, and Elevate have that early body. They have that first with the slower, steadier hand. And the approach here, I have news on the first stream. Their game's already done.
Is it done?
Do you want to know the score?
What is the score
Close your ears if you don't want to know the result of NIP versus DK. 3-2-1, 7-1 to NIP. DK pushed aside. So Elevate currently massively taking all that APAC energy and flying that flag. They might be able to lock this out as a 7-3 and keep APAC balanced in terms of the back and forth. Let's slip back down to the site. The drones catch the roll, a minute gone, and I talked about how it was click before. There's DCH, able to find one. There's got to be a massive play here round from Shuttle.
It is going to be that 3v5. Shuttle needs to hit big, and he is playing above on that meeting area. He has a hatch that he can work with. However, Elevate's still around, and as they're slowly starting to descend these back stairs, Mark and Sapper are also starting to push in from blue. It looks like they just want to hit the side as Iconic seems to be going on a bit of a flank.
Here's Iconic round the corner. Onigiri's putting the Claymore down. The spray comes out, but it's revenge! Mr. Punch has the cover, has the catch, and there's one more. Shuttle is caught out. It is a 5 versus 1, a minute 20 for Forest to have any chance of holding on to this game here. Elevate. They are sitting on the precipice of top point. 6 points! APAC! Welcome to the region. Welcome to our game, Astralis. Welcome to our group.
6 points on the board for Elevate in only 2 games. They've knocked out M&M in terms of their first points. They've just taken the very first of Astralis as well. And they sit alone at the very top with 6 points, 2 games of a buffer with only 4 to go for them. So really well done by Elevate. The fist bumps are coming through. But before we get any further into this game, let's just quickly toss it to a break.
Let it.
And welcome back here to the post-game of that Elevate. 6 points from their opening 2 games. The opening 2 games on their group, the opening 2 games on B-Stream, and where APAC may have failed in the rungs of Damwon Kia, Elevate made sure all that success led somewhere. Astralis pushed aside on Oregon. 7-3.
Yeah, and Astralis being one of the tournament champions, this is an even harder hit towards North America and their potential hopes of doing a back-to-back. But it's still quite early to say that. What we do know, though, is that Elevate is currently on 6 points. All the other teams have 0.
So the way that breaks down as well, obviously, as you said, round difference isn't the second thing.
Thought it was the first tiebreaker.
Is it the first tiebreaker?
I think it's the first tiebreaker.
So Astralis may be in last place on this group.
Yes.
And then it's head-to-head. And then it's other stuff. But we don't care about that.
So.
What we care about right now is how it's otherwise shaped. And there it is, Rogue and NIP, both with pretty handy victories over Damwon Kia, who have suffered the brunt of the bad side. I'm not entirely sure if that is correct as well. Unfortunately, I think it was a 7-1 against NIP. So NIP, I think, are in first.
Yeah, and Damwon Kia doesn't have 3 losses. But, you know, it's all still the first day. Some small things happen.
The stream is running, and that's the
most
main
important,
thing.
right?
The stream is running, and we're seeing
played.
some great Siege played. That's what matters at the end of the day. You can track your own stats at home, like we do, because we're nerds.
Love to track your own stats. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
All right. I mean, that game, we got to give credit there to Elevate, because, to be honest, it was one of the things in the sort of communications that was said about Damwon Kia versus Rogue. Damwon Kia didn't look ready for the game Rogue was going to play. I think it's the same story here. I think Astralis weren't quite ready for the game that Elevate likes to play, especially on defense.
That's it, right? Attack the space. It's what you said before. They get a kill, but instead of falling back, they retake even more ground. And, you know, you breach a wall, you leave it unattended for 2 seconds, suddenly there's a defender just through that wall coming back at you. It is these simple things that might just get read through as we progress through the groups, like teams will start to VOD review their games against Elevate, and maybe the next time around Astralis will be more ready for it. But it is already points lost. It's already 3 points gained, 6 points even gained by Elevate now, who are doing absolutely incredible well.
Now, obviously, later on, Charlotte will be playing against Day, as will M&M, so there's still points. But as far as Elevate go, that's it for them today. They've done everything they needed to, and you can see it there. 7-3 across the board. Very well put together. Quick plays. I mean, we started to see some of that super on the start of Mr. Onigiri, Mr. Punch, and Mark. All 3 of them really led in. But at the same time, you're looking at, you know, the Monty plays or the Ying plays of DCH. There was a very decent 5-sided element there that we had from Astralis, but they just did not expect that.
No, that's it. Like, they had the 5 men, like, you know, they knew what they needed to do. They just weren't ready for the aggression that Elevate wanted to bring. They do not take, like, if they get 2 kills as an entry, they don't take enough of that. It's like, you know what, we could also have 5 kills as an entry, right? You know, it's always time to improve. There's always time to get more. And with that, they close off their first day with probably the best result you could wish for, 6 points against your opponents.
And that is it for us for now on this game. Us 2, after doing the first 2, are going to take a break. Do you know who's on after us?
I think it is the other Europeans.
Other Europeans, Dez and Ace. What little fun things are they going to be doing? I don't know. You'll have to wait after a very quick break before we're back with Dez, with Ace, and as I jump through very quickly,
a couple of games.
Sandbox G2.
Ooh, that's going to be an interesting one as well. We just saw them walk by. So make sure to get your snacks. Make sure to stay hydrated because it is warm inside of Europe and in the rest of the world as well. So get your drinks and be right back.
Bye.